Today's guest is Ahmad, a hip hop artist based in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome, Ahmad.
Hey, it was like it's fanfare.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How you doing, man?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It the weather here in Nashville has been ridiculous.
Has it? Oh
Yeah, it
man.
was like 80, 85 last week. Then 2 days ago it dropped down to 36, and then it snowed overnight, and then now it's 75. So
Oh man. Sounds like you guys have Utah weather.
it's crazy out here, man. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, that's nuts. That's cool though, man. 80 degrees sounds nice right about now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, let's take you back to the beginning of your story. Where were you first born
Okay.
and raised, and how did music come into your life?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, man. It's really crazy. I guess wow, like my brothers used to always listen to music, and I didn't realize that like I would sing along to the music, but then I realized like probably around like third or fourth grade that like okay, like everyone can't sing, like I didn't think I was doing anything special until like I started hearing like other people like legitimately like trying to sing or like wanting to sing or like and I realized like okay, like what I'm doing is not like this isn't normal. Like people don't just sing well. And so I remember my mom put me in the choir at church. She really didn't give me an option. She just kind of like, you're going to do something, and like threw me in there. I just like I think I just started like singing and stuff, and I didn't know what a cutoff was. And so I remember the director like cut everybody off, and I was still singing, but I was the only one singing. And like she heard my voice, and she gave me a solo like the next Sunday. And then like from there, I was like, oh, I want to do music, and I've been on that road ever, really ever since. Writing my own songs, and now we're working with all these really dope producers here in Nashville, a few of them from California as well, and just trying to make good music, man. That's really the goal. Like, just make good music that makes you feel good, makes people feel good, and if you're doing that, the other stuff will come.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back a little bit. What kind of
Okay.
music were you listening to, and like was your family listening to as you were growing up? What was the music around you?
So for the most part, it was pretty much like gospel music, and then on Saturdays, my mom like had like Motown's greatest hits, like being from Detroit, and like a lot of like just taking like field trips and stuff down to the Motown studios, and all that rich history that comes with like these artists who are like all out of Detroit, who like came out with like the sound of like my parents and my grandparents like childhood and like adult life. So like there's so much history, and just really like ultimately like good music. Like you hear like even to this day people still sample their songs, recreate their songs. And so we kind of worked with that. I don't think I listened to like rap until probably like I didn't start listening to rap till like eighth grade. I heard the Carter Three. That was like my first like rap album that I like had like through like straight throughout. I think Rhapsody was like just getting started or something like that, and I had the Rhapsody before they got in that big lawsuit or whatever. And I heard the Carter 3 album in its entirety, and I was like, yo, like I've been missing out on rap. And so like my friends just kept like giving me all these CDs and stuff. And then I found out about mixtapes like my freshman year of high school. I didn't even know those existed. So I had to go all the way back and like listen to Gucci and all these different rappers. And I was like, Big Crit. Man, there's so many that just like started flooding in. And then I was like, yo, like, okay, I love R&B, and then I love hip hop. And so I started like fusing the two together.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. When did you first start making your own music, your own songs, your own beats, whatever?
I wrote my very first song in the third grade. Um, it was a pretty bad song. It was not very good. However, I was like, I'm gonna keep working. And I think around probably like seventh grade, I wrote a song that was like okay, this is a nice song. Like this sounds like something that was on the radio. And so we kept writing like I think right now I have like books, just like those composition notebooks. Probably have like 9 or 10 of those full of just songs. That we've like written over the years and things. I think now we're sitting on like 100 unreleased songs that are just recorded and
Wow.
like ready to go. Yeah, we during the whole COVID lockdown, I was just in the studio like every day, booking like whole day sessions in the studio and just like going in and working on new stuff, finishing up old stuff. And so now we have this giant catalog of music that like we're selling off some of it to like writers and stuff, and some of it we're keeping for ourselves and adding features and stuff. So it's been a super great experience.
That's amazing. At hundreds, I mean, that's crazy. It's nice to have such a big backlog ready to go. I mean, like you're saying, not only just for yourselves, but there's so much else you can do with it. You can sell it. You can, even just the growth that comes from having that many songs. That's amazing. So, congrats, dude.
Thank
Um,
you, man.
yeah. So, when did you first begin recording yourself and actually putting your songs out there?
So I did a mixtape in high school. And like I was like Master P is my idol. So like when I found out Master P was like selling them out the trunk, I was like, yo, I can do that. Like I can sell them out the trunk. So like I remember I went to Walmart and like bought like a 50 pack of blank CDs and like a 50 pack of like the little case covers. And like this was probably like 10th or 11th grade. And I was just like we had an audio production program at the school, and they had Fruity Loops, and it was like a super super basic version because like they weren't trying to do anything crazy. And the production teacher showed me just how to record myself. Like I didn't know how to track things up, add reverb, none of that. Like I just knew how to track it up, and like I could multi-track stuff and like just record it. So we went in and I recorded a Christmas album. It was like 8 songs. And I was like selling it out the trunk of my car for like $5, like all around the school, like just different copies of it, selling it everywhere I possibly could. And it was dope because like at one point, like I remember walking down the hallway and like people were just like holding up my CD, and I was like, I felt like the man because it was like everybody had these CDs, and like they had no idea that like one day after school I just went in and recorded a bunch of songs. Like they weren't mixed, mastered, nothing. Just like a bunch of Christmas songs with some beats I got off YouTube, and uh was going around selling them, and they were all the like the little paper cutouts that go in the CD inserts. They were in black and white because our school didn't let us print off in color. So it was hilarious. It was hilarious, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. A Christmas album for your first. That's a new
Yeah,
one.
the Christmas album for the first. The first one was a Christmas album. And it was
Yeah.
like all like the greatest hits, Silent Night, Santa Claus Coming to Town. Like I just picked like 5 or 6 like bomb Christmas songs that you just can't miss with, you know what I'm saying? So we went out with that and it was super dope.
So did you do that whole project by yourself, like including the production and recording and stuff, or do you have someone help you out who might have known a little more about like recording and all that?
So the first one was literally just me, and Lord knows I wish there was someone who could have helped me out with it. Someone at my high school reunion, we had our 5 year a couple years ago, and someone had a copy and gave it to the DJ, and over the loudspeakers in the gym is this like kind of like tone like, oh, it was bad, it was funny, but it was bad. You just hear it playing through the gym, and like people were like, yo, I remember you used to sell out copies. Like I was selling it to teachers, like everybody had a copy. Like if you knew me, you had a copy. Like we were selling them at games. It was crazy. It
Sounds
was
like a
super
pretty good
crazy.
business move right there too.
Oh, it was great, man. I remember I came home and my grandma and my grandpa were like in the living room, and they were just sitting there and like, can you sit down? We need to like talk to you. And I was like, what's up? And like my grandma was like, yeah, I was putting away some clothes, and I just found a bunch of $5 bills in your top drawer. And she was like, so what's going on? And I was like, oh, I'm just selling CDs. She thought I was like, she thought I was like lying. I was like, I just started pulling CDs out of my backpack. Like, no, like I've been burning CDs and selling them. She was like, oh, okay, like because they didn't really know that I wanted to do music. I just kind of like was in like my own world, just making music and doing whatever. And it was a funny day.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. When did you start building a team to really like work with, or have you always kind of self-produced yourself and worked with yourself mostly?
After that first project, I knew that with myself was not going to be ideal. So it really started out. I did a lot of writing, but I didn't record anymore until I got to college. So we did like a few one-offs. Like I wrote and recorded a song for our basketball team in high school that they used to play when the team would like come out onto the court, which was dope. But other than that, I hadn't recorded anything else until I got to college, and I found just there were so many producers here in Nashville um, that it was like I was like, just going working with different people. And so at first it was really just like me, and then like I'd pick a producer to do a mixtape. So like I just like work with that producer. It'd just be me and that producer. Like I didn't have a manager, like PR or anything like that. Until like much later. I just got management and stuff maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I think 2018. So was when I got management and like started doing like PR and like understanding like marketing, like making good music is not like the end all be all. Like you got to spend as much, if not more time and finances into marketing than you do like creating the stuff. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy how much talent is out there. It's just people don't know about it. So like the marketing of it,
Scary.
that's the thing that is the difference, I feel like, for a lot of cases.
Yeah,
Um,
man. I tell people all the time, because like people ask, like, because like we have a company now. Like even, I wish I could turn my computer around and you'd see. Right now, my videographer is in the same room as me. We're editing a video, and we're going to do like a photo shoot today, and then there's studio time tonight, and there was like studio time till 3 in the morning yesterday. So it's like now we have this like giant team. But I tell people all the time, I'm like when they ask like how are you doing all this, I'm like it's just like marketing. Like there are people out there who sing like a million times better than me. Like I promise you, like their stage performance is better, they write better, like all of these things. However, they're just not going to outwork me. Like like I know I have a good product, and I know like I make music that people want to hear, and like I just figure out ways to like get it to people. Like we'll do crazy stuff, pop up shops. Like we'll just pull up and like do stuff, or like pull up to a parking lot and be like, "Yo, we're in this parking lot." Like we whipped out some speakers and like plug them into my truck, and like now it's just like an impromptu like party or something in the parking lot. Like we'll do whatever, like just have fun with it, and it's been able to like not only like pay the bills and stuff, but like I've been able to like start living a pretty good life now. So things are
yeah,
going good.
it's whatever it takes, whatever works. That's awesome, man. It's cool that you're
Yeah,
thinking
man.
outside the box and willing to accept, things outside of the lane of normal marketing, I guess. So that's so cool.
Yeah, man.
So did you go to Nashville for college? Like, did you go to Belmont or something over there? Or where did you go to college?
Yeah, so I signed to do field events, track and field at Fisk University, and ended up doing their bridge program to Belmont. So I was in school for 5 years, got a degree from Fisk, and got a degree from Belmont. My degree at Fisk is business administration, and then I have a music business degree from Belmont. So it was really really cool to like be at two different places, like where like HBCU had like one completely different like aspect of life, and then like same time like going and taking classes at Belmont. So I really got to see like both sides of like music, because like at Fisk it's more of like hip hop and like R&B and like soul music, and then when I got to Belmont, like I learned a lot about like the marketing. I learned a lot about like more of the business side of like of music, and being able to take like the talents I have and like not only like spread it to the world, but like figure out how to like monetize like all this like dope stuff that you're doing, which will like help you pay for like things that you want to do, help you pay for things that, you know what I'm saying, you need to do, and like really make a career out of like doing what you love.
Interesting. So yeah, I'm not from Nashville, so I've heard a lot about Belmont through people I've talked to, but it's Fisk is, if that's correct, is Fisk in Nashville too? Like, is that another school there, or where is that at?
Yeah. So Nashville has what? How many schools do you think we have, Jared? Like 30 something colleges?
I think one
Wow.
time I counted
Yeah,
26.
it's huge. Like, so for such a small city, they're really packed in. You got Vanderbilt, you got Tennessee State, you got Fisk, you got Belmont, you got Lipscomb. Um, there's a bunch of smaller
American
schools.
Baptist
American
College,
Baptist College,
Tennessee kind of community,
Tennessee Community,
the law school.
Nashville State. There's so many schools. It's literally a college. Like, it's a college town. They're everywhere. Like,
That's
everywhere you
crazy.
look, you throw a stone, you're gonna hit a school.
Yeah. So
So
I know Belmont has a lot of musicians that go there, even if, they're not necessarily going to Belmont for music. Like, there's
yeah.
doctors and stuff who are still musicians on the side. Is that the same case at the other colleges as well, from what you've seen? Or is it kind of just, how was that experience? Like, are the musicians really everywhere?
I mean, really, yeah. So like at Tennessee State, there's a lot of like I've seen more of like DJs more than like artists. Like people who want to DJ or like manage, but there's definitely, I didn't really spend so much time at TSU. But there's definitely a lot of good talent that came out of there as well. Um a good producer of mine. I think he only went for a year, and then he started doing some crazy stuff. Shout out to AB Eastwood, super dope producer. I was just with him last night. He's got a Super Bowl commercial, a couple other different things. Really, really like talented dude. But there's just so much music. Like we always joke at Fisk that like apparently everyone can sing at Fisk. Because like it's a pretty small school. There's only about 600 or 700 students, but out of that like whole student body, there's just like people just pop out of the woodworks being able to sing at Fisk. So there's like a lot of music just in the city as a whole. I would say like Belmont is definitely like the mecca of that. Like everywhere you turn, like there's a dope artist everywhere. Like everywhere. Like somebody's good at what they do. And they have like these huge showcases and things. A good buddy of mine, Weston, just graduated from Belmont, super dope rapper. There was this super talented girl named Jemiah. She went to Belmont. It's crazy. Like I didn't even like when I met her, I didn't realize I had met her before. She was in my freshman music business class, and then like she started to blow, and like she just came off tour like right now with We the Kingdom. So super dope. Like there's talent literally everywhere. Like the same way we talk about like throw a rock, you hit like a school. Like you can throw a rock and hit somebody who's like either like signed to a label, like labels are looking at them. Like we were sitting in classes with people who won Dove awards. Like even the Fisk Jubilee singers, they just won a Grammy this year. So like that's huge. A lot of good music and stuff is coming to the city, so we're just having fun with it.
That's amazing. Sounds just everywhere. So when you first moved to Nashville, since there's so much talent there, how was that for you? Was it overwhelming or a bit, I guess, nerve-wracking to move out there where there's so much talent all of a sudden around you? Or was it really comfortable for you and exciting?
It was nerve wracking at first. I finally got comfortable. It took me a while to get comfortable because like where I was, it was like people sang, but like everywhere. Like in high school, like I got all like the solos and like I did every like what I'm saying, because like I was singing like all the time. So then like in my head, I'm like, okay, like I thought I was better than I was at the time. You know what I'm saying? So like when I got down to Nashville, it's like no, everybody sings, like everybody does this. So it's like where I went from being like a person who was like, okay, this isn't normal for like where I'm at. Then you come to the school where like, okay, like there are people like who've been doing this like for a really, really long time, and like they've been really, really good at it. Like kids who come from like California and like all these different places like down in Florida or like and like oh my goodness, there's so many artists out of Memphis, like they're just like so soulful, and then like you get here and you're like thinking you're hot stuff, and then like these people are like doing all the stuff that like you're trying really hard to do, and they're doing like effortlessly. And you're like, oh, like okay, I gotta work. Like it's not sweet anymore. Like I gotta like really get after it. So like at first I was like super nervous because like man, like everybody's doing like so much better than me. And then I thought to myself like no, just like work like and like ask questions and like figure out like what are they doing that makes what they're doing so dope, like. And like once I started to like develop those like relationships and like work on my songwriting and like beat selection and things like that, and like understanding like how important like changing one note is, or like moving like not using this word but using this word is like everything started to just like elevate and grow from there. So
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like it was a kind of a hard thing at first, but it's for the best, because you get put under so much pressure that you start to learn and start to grow. So that's great.
oh for
Um,
sure.
yeah, what was your experience like trying to get back into recording when you got to Nashville? Like, when did that start happening and start to really focus in on your music when you were there?
Man, so we started trapping out the dorms as far as music wise. Like we would put microphones in closets. Like we were doing, whatever we possibly could to record. And then my guy Rizzo, he's in Ohio now, but he's a Fiskite. And he had an apartment or a studio in his apartment, and I remember he was charging like 25 an hour or something like that. And I just remember like taking like my work study money, which I should have been using like buy some books or something. But I remember I bought like 5 hours in the studio with him, and I was like, there was like obviously a giant change in quality in music. Like he had equipment and like stuff that we actually needed to like record. And so from there, like we worked, and then I remember when he graduated, he left and like started his own studio in Ohio. So I started looking for okay, a studio in town, and that's how I met AB. I met him through I was roommates with his girlfriend at the time, Lauren McClinton, who was another dope artist here in the city. And like I met up with him, and we started going to like all these different studios in the city. So like now I'm like plugged into like there's this really dope studio here where I'm a member called Home Studios. It's just they got like a couple different rooms you can like record live settings and like a bunch of different things. And really the last kind of like 3 years, like from 2018 like to now, has really like been in like overdrive as far as like working in different studios and working with different producers and stuff. Like now that I've like opened up my network, which I guess like now that I'm have more free time because like I'm out of school, like it's a lot easier to like go and network and those things. So like now we have like this massive movement where like we're shooting videos and like pre-recording like different productions and working on merch and like just doing whatever we want, because like this is like my job, and like this is like real life. Like I don't have to go worry about class and like homework and stuff like that, because like now we're out here doing the stuff that we went to school for.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What advice would you give to maybe artists who are just looking to get going now and who might just be a bit fresh? What advice would you give those artists about building their networks and how to actually get out there and build that team?
um networking is so important, like building relationships. And then like a big thing, I don't know, maybe it was just me, like people didn't go to like shows. Like people only went to like the shows that they were performing at. Like pull up to shows, man. Like even if you're not on the bill, like go and like support people and like talk with people. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody gets on stage and does something dope, and like, okay, I want to work with that person. Go talk to them, get a contact information, get an email, whatever it is, and like actually follow up. Because like most people, they like hand out emails and things, but like most people don't like follow up on it. Like shoot them an email with like your contact information and stuff like that. If you have a project you want them on, or like don't ever let someone tell you like what I'm saying, like this isn't like something that you can do to be like successful, because there's so much. It's one of those things where like being in the music industry, like people have to like your music, obviously to be successful, but there's just so many types of music and so many different lanes. Like you're not gonna go out there and somebody gonna be like, oh, we have like there's too much music. You can't make music right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like an accountant or something like that where like there has to be space or like an availability for you. Like you can create your own lane. Like as long as you're creating things that like you love and then obviously like something that people can gravitate to, like there will forever be like a lane for you to like create and like be successful. One thing I will say, um and people always like exposure, like getting exposure, second, third. Exposure is great, and like if you're just starting off, like doing stuff for like the free or things like that is dope. But like as you start to build yourself up, like sometimes like picking and choosing like what you do. So like as you get bigger, you can't just take like every gig or take everything because like you want to build a brand and you want to build, you know what I'm saying, something that you want to like people to see and be like, okay, I would pay to see this. But it's like if you continue to like once you hit a certain point, if you continue to like keep doing the free shows, then all you're gonna get are, shows where people won't pay you, So like at some point you gotta like turn some of those down. And now you're like, oh my goodness, like turning down a spot to perform. But it's like that's like the business side of it that people don't talk about. Like if you keep showing up to like do a free show, then like people are going to consider you the person who does the free shows. And so like those are the opportunities that are going to be like gravitated towards you. um and like understand that like you are a business, what you do is a business. So like the same way you pay, you don't go in the Nike store and be like, yo, I'll give you exposure for these kicks. Like, no, like I make music and I'm good at it and you obviously like it because you want it. So like pay for it, understanding that like charging for your music and charging for your craft is not making you seem like you're a jerk. It's not making you seem like, you know what I'm saying, you're not a nice person. You're a professional and you do, something really good and professionally, and you deserve to get paid for it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree. That's fantastic advice, especially because there's a thing about the free shows where it's like perceived value, where it's great to get going, get your foot in the door, but people also have to see that you're. It's like the Nike shoes. You see a Nike shoe in a Ross, if it's the same shoe as you're going to see in the Foot Locker, you're going to think the Foot Locker one's better. And it's just one of those things. You have to get foot in the
Yep.
door, but also a balance to like let people know what your value is and also give them the best value possible and accept what your value is so you can make money. So I totally agree.
Right. And it's
Um,
not to say you can't ever do a free show ever again. Like if someone comes up to you and was like, hey, like let's do, you know what I'm saying? Like there's this festival, there's gonna be, 700-800 people there. Like you should probably do that festival. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like
Oh, of course.
like you know what I'm saying? Like, but you can't go to every rider round. You can't, yeah, like you really gotta scope things out and like, get like more information. Like people say yes to stuff before they have all the information. And now you're performing on a farm in Kansas because you didn't get all the information before you said yes.
Yeah, exactly. Totally agree. So I've heard a lot about Nashville and the scene. I've heard a lot about, how it is for pop and country, but how is the Nashville hip hop scene? What's that like?
The Nashville hip hop scene is so underrated, but it's also so appreciated. Like it's one of those things where like it's the world's greatest kept secret, but everybody knows about it, if that makes sense. Like it's like there's so much music and there's so much talent and there's so many cool events that are like happening, and like they're like packed out events. I'm talking like sold out shows. And but it's like it's the same community that keeps coming to the events. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not really a lot of, I guess, like newcomers. And I really think like the city kind of put that as a disadvantage. Like they act like there's not hip hop and like a heavy hip hop and R&B scene here. So like the city kind of pushes the pop and like country like to the forefront. But in actuality, like the R&B and like hip hop scene is what is like feeding that like that pop and country kind of machine. Like there's a lot of labels here in town and a lot of if I'm not mistaken, there's a headquarters here for CSAC, BMI, and ASCAP. I know exactly where BMI, and I used to work at CSAC. I'm pretty sure there's an ASCAP headquarters on Music Row now, but I'm not sure of that, so I don't want to be quoted. um, but man, there is. I mean, I'm talking about like you can like developing a following here and like a crowd that like enjoys your music and like comes to your shows and like even like just buying merch like you can like really be successful here in Nashville and like people love the music but it's like until we get that I guess that same like level of push as far as like come here for like the same way you come here and listen to country music you can like you know what I'm saying like find a show like a hip hop show or like an R&B show that like will bring just as many people out as those pop and country. It's just like a different demographic, like a different set of people listening. Like there's so many different shows in like North Nashville and even at like Exit In, like one night there could be like pop and country artists, and then the next night like it's all hip hop, you know, and like selling out the building just like the country and pop artists did. So it's really one of those things like it's great and there's a huge following, but like no one's like it's not on like the giant billboards in front of you. Like you just got to go find it.
That's interesting. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because I figured that, country is, it sounds like it's all centered around country because like country used to be so connected to rock. And now that the world's
Yeah.
kind of moving more towards hip hop, it feels like country is going to kind of have this little relationship with hip hop that kind of pushes hip hop up in Nashville too, is just kind of my guess from what I can see. But
I
that's
mean,
really
it's
interesting.
interesting. It's really interesting. I mean, even like you see, like in a lot of country songs now, there's a lot of hip hop elements
Yeah.
to some of these country songs. Like, and then I think about like some of like the black country artists like Jimmy Allen. I got a chance to meet him a couple times. He is so soulful and he can really go in like so many different directions and like you when you listen to like some country music now like the drum patterns and like 808s there were no 808s in country music like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like what you know what I'm saying like the drum patterns like you know, they were like maybe real drums, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like actually using like beat machines and like, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't a thing like 5 years ago, you know? Like the closest thing we had to that was maybe like when Nelly, like back in like '02, he did that song with, man, what was that? Yeah, Country Grammar. Like so like it's crazy to see now even like with pop too you know like pop music a lot of people like pop music is just short for popular music so like hip hop as hip hop continues to take over the world like everyone's trying to like get that sound that people want to hear so like you see hip hop bleeding into like all of these other categories and it's kind of cool to see but it's frustrating because like nobody's giving hip hop their credit like everybody's like stealing from it but won't like say where they got it from, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be cool to see that kind of evolve. I feel like it
Yeah.
will, especially in places like Nashville and stuff, where it's kind of like you're talking about, it's kind of the secret. I think eventually it'll start to move more to the forefront, and I think it's going to be a great thing. So,
Yeah.
what are you excited for that's coming up, and what are you working on right now?
Oh, buddy. So we have a lot going on right now. I have a company called Ahmad Entertainment where like we put on shows and we shoot music videos, pretty much everything entertainment we're working on, like clothing. We have our own shoe out. Where is we got a shoe? The Ahmad's. I think it's hard
Yeah,
to
that's
see
cool.
on my background, but
See a little
got
bit.
our we got our own shoe. Work with me, green
Oh,
screen.
that's so
There
cool.
we
Yeah, I
go.
see that. That's amazing.
Yeah, we got our own shoe. Just different merch. We've really been branching out like the business side of things and like really understanding like what like brings in revenue for the company. We've started our media, so like we've been shooting some pilot episodes for these TV shows. Our goal is to put on by the end of 2022 to have an Ahmad Entertainment app where like it's kind of like Netflix. You go to see like all of our content and like what we have going on. This will be our second year doing our festival Tilt Fest. Um, we started it back in 2019. Obviously, COVID put a halt to it for 2020, but we'll be back for the second time this summer, socially distant, of course. And so we're really, really excited about that. We have a show coming up May 1st, actually, called Essential Shopping, where we curated the show for a group called LA Team Pass. And it's an immersive shop. So in the center of the room, we have this concert that's essentially happening. However, completely like on all the walls of the venue, we made it like a marketplace. So like people can actually come in and like shop at like these different like black owned businesses while they're at the concert. Which is going to be a super dope concept that like we're working on. Out of those 100 songs right now, out of the ones that we're not like trying to like push for people to like buy or like get artists to like record over them, we are doing. I think it's like 5 songs every 3 or 4 months. So we just pick five and like put it together as a project and drop it, maybe shoot a video or so for one or two of them. And like we just have so many now, we just go in and like, okay, which five we want to do, and like we'll just listen and pick five that kind of fit in the category together, come up with a concept, and just like let it fly. I think the next one's dropping around the 4th of July, so be on the lookout for that. It's gonna be fun, man. We're just having fun with it now. Like once we figured out a recipe that works for us, and we're just gonna keep going with it. Like really, just having fun with the music.
That's amazing, man. And it sounds like you have, a good head about what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, not only with the sound, but with the business and with the
Yeah,
marketing. So that is really cool. And I think you're going to go places. It sounds like things are going to line up for you coming up. So that's
yeah.
amazing.
Thank you,
Um,
man.
yeah, of course. Hey, thanks for talking with me today, man. I've enjoyed talking with you and hearing about your story and your experiences and, your time in Nashville and all that. It's been really cool. It's been really fun.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you having me on, and super excited to hear about that app too. It's gonna be dope. So keep doing what you're doing, and can't wait to see this out and share with some friends. So it's gonna be dope.